Welcome back to Mandy's Southern Stitching. Today I wanted to show you a block I found that would be very easy for a beginner to get started quilting, and it's just one block, but you could put sashing on either side and make several of them and make a quilt of any size, depending on the size of your pieces. So this is the block here. This is a checkerboard block. As you can see, it kind of has a pattern with the colors. You could even do it scrappy and completely random if you wanted to. But it is out of this book called Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee. I'm actually making this sampler quilt that's on the cover, and this block is my next block to make, and I was reading the instructions and I'm like, well, this is just a pretty basic block, and you could use any size square as long as they're all the same size, and you can make it any size you wanted. It's very pre-cut friendly. It's scrap friendly, which is what I'm using. I am using my overflowing bins of scraps to make this block. I'm trying to get my scraps down to a more manageable level. But as you can see, I'm not going to show you the measurements because this is not my pattern, but as you can see, it's just very simple. Very simple. It's just a checkerboard, basically. It's a bunch of squares. And so I'm going to show you how to make it, but first we're going to talk about how versatile this is. It's pre-cut friendly. Like I said, I can't tell you my measurements, but you can use any dimension of square. You can use little tiny 1.5 inch. You can use 3 inch. You can use 4 inch. You can use 5 inch, and anything in between. Obviously, the bigger your squares are, the bigger your block's going to be. But like I said, it's perfect for beginners because all you're doing is focusing on sewing squares together. And then, like I said, you can put some sashing top, sides, bottom, connect them together, and probably 6 to 9 squares, and you've got a pretty good size quilt. You could use a jelly roll. Could you imagine how monochromatic? I know a lot of people, these are the colors these days, the grays, the blacks, the golds that people use in their houses. You can make a quick housewarming gift using a jelly roll. You can use charm packs. You can use them like this or cut them into the size of your choice. Beautiful rainbow colors. This is Bonnie Camille, the author of the book. So this would be a great choice. I would love to see it in Tula Pink. You can even use a layer cake. Cut them to the size of your choice. Could you imagine it with all these beautiful, bold colors? Beautiful. You can even use Fat Eighth or Fat Quarter Bundle. This is Raspberry Lemonade from Sherry and Chelsea. Just look at that rainbow of colors. Perfect. Or like me, you can just use your stash, which is what I'm doing. So let me move all my pre-cuts out of the way real quick. Excuse me, kitty. And I am going to show you, I've already got my squares cut. Like I said, I can't show you the pattern. I can't show you the dimensions because it's not my pattern. I don't own the rights to it. But I do have my squares cut. As you can see, I have a rainbow of colors and different textures and everything. And I've got them laid out in the order that I need to start row by row. So on this next section, we're going to start actually arranging them and sewing them together. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have got my first row laid out here. From start to finish, it starts with a red and ends with a different red, but And then there's obviously the different colors in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to piece these together with a 1/4 inch seam, and then we're going to press it. Now we're just going to press, not iron, so that it don't distort and change colors. I mean change sizes. So here we go. Stand by. Alright, so we're going to line them up. Very simple. And we're going to get our 1/4 inch seam. Cut. Or cut, trim your threads the normal way. And then we're going to add the next one. Blue, darker blue, and we're going to add our peach, and our red. Now you can press them out, or you can take a little rollie if you want to wait until you get all of them done, all the rows done, but just to kind of straighten out your seams a little bit. This one's going to have to be pressed because that one in the middle is a little wrinkly. There's your first row. And then you're going to lay out your second row. Starts with a green, then a blue, blue plaid, and a darker blue, let's see here so you can see what I'm doing. Darker blue, and then we need a peach, and then a red, and then an orange. Just like that. Here's our next row. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you sew those together. And I'm going to do this with every row. And then I'm going to press them. And then we're going to sew those rows together in the next clip. So stand by. All right, guys, we are back. I have sewn together and pressed all my rows, as you can see here. Now, I got a little directionally challenged, and I didn't press the way I probably should have, so the seams nest. I'll show you the first two. I think I did right. So this is the first row. They're all going pretty much the same direction. Well, not really. But then this row. Here they're all going this direction, and these should be going the opposite direction so that they nest. And it helps when you're pinning and when you're sewing so that things don't slip and you get a wonky block. But we're going to make it work. You don't have to, I mean, pressing is, to me, not as important as more getting your seams fairly even and stuff like that. But some people, pressing is the end all be all, but not for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with these first two rows. We're going to put them pretty sides together. I'm going to pin because there are a lot of junctures and I don't want a wonky block that's lopsided, mismatched, because with all these colors you're going to be able to tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin on either side of this seam here, where those two seams meet. We're going to do the same on each one. We're going to match them up as best we can. They don't have to be 110% perfect unless you're a perfectionist. I am not. We're going to pin and pin. And I'm not usually a pinner. I usually just try to wing it. But for the sake of today's video, we are going to do the best we can. Like I said, I'm not, in my other videos, I am not a perfectionist. If I was a perfectionist in quilting, quilting would not be fun for me. I'm more of creative things, you know, work, whatever works and makes me happy is what I do. It don't have to be 110% perfect. It just has to be finished, and I have to be happy with it. So here we go. I'm gonna get these seams together, juncture them up. And then we're going to sew. Okay. So then we're going to start here. Let me move you to my sewing machine. We're going to start here on a 1/4 inch line. I'm going to go slow so I don't run over these teeny tiny pins. And I'm going to pull them out as I get close. And sometimes I have to lift my foot up to make sure that it doesn't push those seams the wrong way. Make it puffy. And we don't want a puffy block if we can help it. And just go as slow as you feel comfortable, or as fast as you all feel comfortable. This little bitty block though. Just a few stitches at a time is all I want to do. I about got my finger there. And just come out as close as we can. Straighten it out. So we'll pull as we go. And there we go. And we have our first two joined, just like that. How about that? And they're pretty much lined up. They may be a millimeter off, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at it from a distance, you're not going to be able to tell. So now that we've got this row done, I'm going to repeat with all of the other rows and keep adding them all to the bottom here and pinning and going. And then when I come back, I will have it pressed and I'll show you the finished product. Stand by. All right, guys. I have pressed seams. I have put it together. Here is our block right here. It is pretty even. Mine came out a little smaller than the recommended size, which was 12.5, but I usually use a little larger seam allowance than a 1/4 inch. Mine's not quite a true 1/4 inch. It's not a scant by any means, but it all came out pretty even. The back not so much because my pressing was a little off, but it's okay. We can flatten it out. It'll be fine. It'll quilt out, trust me. There is a little pucker there, but nobody's perfect, like I said. I am not a perfect quilter. I am more of a get it done. Quilting just relaxes me, and if I'm trying to be 110% perfect, that's not relaxing to me. So, but it is done. I'm very happy with it. I love the colors, and this all came from my stash. Like, this is Lori Holt. This is a Moda. I'm not sure what this is here. I think it's Maywood Studios. These, I think, are Kimberbell. This is a Moda. That's Moda. This is Sherry and Chelsea Moda. Sherry and Chelsea Moda. Not sure what this green is. I think that's Riley Blake too. And this is just a solid peach that I had in my stash. So, you know, you can use very scrappy, and as you can see, all these collections work together. So, stay tuned. We will be making more blocks. I'm actually fixing to start a Elizabeth Hartman pattern, which is Fab Farm, and I'm going to go through each block. The cows, the pigs, the chickens, the goats, the horses, the strawberries, and the flowers. And I'm going to be filming that over the next few months once I start it. I'm just trying to get a few things off my plate first before we get going. But, yeah, I'm going to start doing a few little sewing tutorials. But I did, when I was about to start this one, I'm like, hey, that's a good, very good beginner block for anybody. Like I said, put you some sashing. You can use white, you can use black. Black would really make this pop, especially if you have bold colors like this. Put some black sashings around them, connect them together, you know, and make it as big as you want. And you've got a beautiful quilt that anybody would love. But that's it for today. So, happy sewing. Let me know what you think of this block. Again, the book that it came from is the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. Mine came from Fat Quarter Shop. It was a freebie that I got when I won a contest. But they do still have it, and you can probably find it on Amazon. Probably a few other places that sell quilt books. Your local quilt shop may even have it. It's got a bunch of different quilts, and it also has the sampler. So, a lot of quilt blocks in here. Some are beginner friendly, some are a little more advanced. The bee is a little advanced. But it's still a great book. Very well written. So, you know, check it out. See what you like. You may even find it at your local library. So, but have a good day, y'all. And come back. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my comments. More of my content. Brain fart today. Like and subscribe. And once we get closer to 1,000 followers, I'm going to have a giveaway. Because I have a ton of fabric. So I'm going to make a giant fabric basket and send it to one lucky person who subscribes to my channel. So get your friends, if your quilty friends, to like and subscribe. The quicker we get there, the quicker that fabric basket goes out. So happy sewing.